We're very fortunate, as you all know, to have Swami Aseshananda here with us. For anyone who may not know, he's the leader of the Vedanta Society of Portland and has been working in this country since 1947. He's the only disciple of the Holy Mother in this country and one of maybe 3 or 4 in the world. So we're very fortunate to have him here tonight, and he's been with us since last Friday. We've all been enjoying his holy company, and we're looking forward to tonight's lecture very much. So I'll leave it to Swamiji now to give his talk on the Bhagavad
Gita. I shall start with a prayer. Jang Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunnanti Dibbaistavai Vedai Sangapadakram Upanishadai Gayanti Jang Samugaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasha Pashyanti Jang Yoginaha Jasyantam Navidhu Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Our salutations to him who is the truth of life and existence, and whom the sages call by various names. Our salutations to him whom the devotees meditate in the shrine of their hearts and realize his ineffable presence in their deepest contemplation. May he illumine our understanding and prompt our minds to the path of truth and righteousness. May he reveal himself unto our souls and dispel the gloom of illusion, fear, doubt and darkness. Om, peace, peace, peace. Peace be unto us, peace be unto all mankind. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Tat Sat. I have said last Sunday that I do not come here in the role of a speaker. I come here in the role of a pilgrim. This center brings to my consciousness the memory of Swami Vividishananda. We were very good friends. We sat together at the feet of Swami Brahmananda. It is Swami Brahmananda who inspired us to live a life of renunciation and strive towards realization of God. Now the subject is message of the Gita. What is the central message of the Gita? Dr. Radhakishan, in his Indian philosophy, says the central message of the Gita is theism. But Shankaracharya does not accept theism to the central message of the Bhagavad Gita. The reason is, if you accept theism, then you are to think in terms of distinction between man and God, between creature and creator. Swami Turiyananda read in one of the writings of Shankaracharya, Jivan Mukti Sukha Hetave Natu Samsara Kammaya. We have come here to attain called liberation in this very life. But theism speaks of post-mortem liberation, post-mortem emancipation. You see. So that is the reason why if we think theism to be the goal, then we have to think of an avatar to be a savior, a redeemer. Is Sri Ramakrishna a redeemer? Is Sri Ramakrishna a savior? If you think Sri Ramakrishna as a savior or a redeemer, you have to think of called the original sin. Because redeemer or savior is associated with theology of Saint Augustine and Saint Paul. Original sin. You see. Therefore, we find that the doctrine of avatar did not come in the age of the Upanishads. It came in the age of the Smriti, in the age of called the Bhagavad Gita. So if we are to think of the avatar, means God coming to history as a man, as we find in the 4th chapter of the Gita. Jada jada hi dharmasya glanid bhavati bharata. From the Indian point of view, Eastern point of view, avatar comes to reinforce Tattvamasi. Avatar comes to tell that we have hypnotized ourselves into thinking that we are lonely and lost. We have to deeply hypnotize ourselves and to think that we are divine. And that is what Swami Vivekananda preached. You see, divinities on earth. It's a sin to call a man sinner. So here when we, you think of Dr. Radhakishan or Sri Aurobindo speaking of theism to be the chief theme of Bhagavad Gita, the reason is this: if you read in the 5th chapter of the Gita, there is one verse, Mamai Bangsha Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. You see, individual soul are parts of the universal soul. But Shankara, if you read Shankara's commentary, you will find Angsha Eva, Jata Eva. That means you are part, apparently you are part. You see. So there comes the Jivatva. Jivatva comes on account of two theories. You see. One theory is called Bimba Pratibimba Bhada, reflection theory. The Atman reflects on individual Vijnana Kosha, then I am an enjoyer, or I am an agent. And then if you think that you are an agent and enjoyer, you have to call karma phala. You will enjoy the fruits of your action. But Bhagavad Gita's message is Jnanagni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kuruja. You have to ignite the fire of knowledge, fire of Atmajnana, and burn into ashes all your karmas. And so you find that in order to understand Bhagavad Gita, you will have to practice called spiritual discipline. There are two paths. One is called the bhakti path. In bhakti path, you have to establish a relationship with the personal aspect of God. But in jnana path, that is called the affirmative way. But in jnana path, you follow the negative way. What is the negative way? That I am not the body, I am not the senses, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego. Who I am? I am that I am. I am the ocean of unbounded consciousness, eternal freedom, and unceasing joy. So it reminds me of one instance. You see, Swami Shardananda, you see, had a stroke in August, 6th of August in 1927. You see. I was meditating. He could not speak. His voice left, you see. But in the Udbodhan shrine, the one verse from the Bhagavad appeared. Nasato vidyate bhava, na bhavo vidyate shataha, ubhayoropi drishtanta stanayo tattadarshivi. That which exists will never become non-existent. That which non-existent will never become existent. This distinction between existence and non-existence can be realized only by Tattvavid, by an illumined soul. So now, existential philosopher of the West, especially French philosopher, they interpret existence connected with this phenomenal universe. Phenomenal universe connected with your apparent self. But Shankaracharya, when he uses existence, he is not connecting existence with nama rupa, with name and form. He is connected existence to the essence. Now, the essence of man, essence of God, essence of this universe is Nirguna Brahman. And this realization comes to a person who has attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And that is the reason why Sri Ramakrishna had the experience of Savikalpa Samadhi and had the vision of the Divine Mother. But when he was undergoing sadhana under Totapuri, you see, Sri Ramakrishna said to Totapuri followed the negative method, neti neti, you see, as Shankaracharya says in his Nidbanu Shaktakam, Anong mano buddhang karu chittani naham nacha srota jive nacha jnana netre chidananda rupa shivoham. You see. So the West has accepted the dualistic philosophy. The last Sunday I spoke that on account of two influences, the Greek influences has given the Western man called rationalism. What is rationalism? Subject and object must be different. And now another stream of thought has contributed, and that stream is called Hebrew thought or Jewish thought. When you think of the Jewish thought, you will always think that man is distinct from God. Now the other day, one person, one devotee or friend, you can say, is telling that in Jewish marriage, the contact is 99 years. The contact. Why? Not 100 years. Then 100 only God, 100 years. Yeah. So 99 years. That means you cannot take the position of God. But it is true we cannot take the position of God. But Shankaracharya is telling, but God likes that his devotees should be intellectual devotees, and not only intellectual, enlightened devotees. So intellectual devotees will see, or devotional type of devotees will make a distinction, but not enlightened devotees. Enlightened devotees, jnani atma vai matam. In Bhagavad Gita, there you will find Chaturbhida bhajante mam. Shukritena. They are very fortunate with Chaturbhida. What type? 4 types of people. What they for? Artha jiggashu artharti jnani cha bharatarsa. Artha means one is afflicted. Even agnostic, when he is afflicted, what will say? His prayer will be, O Lord, no, O God, if there is a God, save my soul if there is a soul. So he's very honest and sincere, because he is not sure, but at least he says, if there is, therefore. So intellectual conviction creates this kind of agnosticism. So a devotee, he is called Artha, who is afflicted with some pain, with some problem, with some difficulty, you see. But what happens when his problem is over, he may forget God. Jiggashu, inquirer, light, more light, you see. Light, more light. He also, when he gets some intellectual satisfaction, then he may also forget. Arthati, a person has no job, they praise, and afterwards he gets a job, he becomes satisfied. But real satisfaction will come when we realize God as our Atman. See no difference, see no distinction, because distinction and difference will create fear. Dvaitad bhayam bhavati. So that is the message which Swami Vivekananda came to give to the West. And again, we are not denying personal God. We only explaining personal God. You see, man travels from truth to truth and never from error to truth. Even in Christian faith, there is dualism. When Christ says, "Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name," the extra-cosmic God. You see, Deus ex machina. The world is a machine, and there is the manufacturer machine, or who conceived about the machine, you see. Then there is also, this is called extracosmic, intracosmic Ramanuja. It is Muddha, you will find. Sri Ramakrishna saw this, Deo Buddha Dasushmati. When you identify with your body, God is separate from you. You identify with your individual soul, you are a part, and God is the whole, like wave and the ocean. Mamai Bangsha, when Shankaracharya is interpreting, Angsha Eva, that means when you are thinking of your intimate relationship of part and whole, then you think God is called transcendent as well as immanent. But if have attained called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you have transcended time, space and causation, you see, then there will not be the slightest distinction, because pure consciousness is indivisible. And that is the reason why Tattvamasi, there we call the Mahavakya. Mahavakya in the Upanishads, especially the four, the Vedas, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. Aham Brahmasmi, it is in Yajurveda. Tattvamasi, it is in Chandogya. Ayam Atma Brahman and Prajnanam Brahman. Now, Ramanuja uses grammatical way of explaining, and Tasya Tamoshi. That means Ramanuja, his philosophy you call qualified monistic philosophy, and therefore part and the whole. That Mamai Vangsha Ramanuja says that God is immanent as well as transcendent. An individual soul called Onu. Individual soul means finite. But Shankara, his authority is called the Shruti, or called the Upanishads. He quotes the Shruti, especially Upanishads, Mahantam Bhivum Atmanam Matva Dhiro No Shochati. Therefore, you have make a distinction between apparent self and the real self. Apparent self belongs to time, space and causation, but the real self is the witness consciousness. Although Shankara is indebted to Kopila, it is Kopila, the father of Shankara philosophy. Pythagoras went to India to study this philosophy, Shankara philosophy, philosophy of the number, you see. There you find the distinction between Purusha and Prakriti, you see. When Einstein says that science is blind without religion, he is using exactly what Shankara philosophy says. The Prakriti has the power of movement or locomotion, you see. But Prakriti is not conscious. So science is now, especially quantum theory, is speaking about consciousness, you see. And also the scientist, Newtonian physicist used to say a scientist is a spectator. But quantum theory does not accept it. We are participator. What we know of this world is X plus mind. What we know about yourself is also Y plus mind. So as long as you're on the intellectual plane of consciousness, you are identifying yourself with the Vritti Chaitanya, thought waves of the mind. But when you transcend Turiya, that is the method then is of the Mandukya Upanishad, Mandukya Karika of Gaurapada, is says that law of causation, law of causality is relative truth. Einstein accepted law of time and space to be relative, but Einstein did not accept. Heisenberg tried to influence him, but he did not accept it. So whatever it may be, it is then Madhyamika Karika of Nagarjuna. The first challenges the law of causation. And in Madhyamika Karika, some scholars say Gaudapada is indebted to Nagarjuna. So somebody asked that question. The Nagarjunas, they call Shunnata. Shunnata means emptiness or void. I will interpret Nagarjuna Shunnata is the same as identification with Nirguna Brahman. You cannot identify with the Shaguna Brahma, or personal God. Clay mouse can never become one with clay elephant, you see. But reduce clay mouse and clay elephant to the clay, then there is no distinction, you see. Now, therefore you find, you see, that this is, the West has accepted theism, that means the Parinamavada, means God is the ultimate cause. Where do you find that? You find in the book of Genesis, that there will be light and there was light, you see. Therefore, he is called the unmoved mover, that is Aristotle, unmoved mover. But Shankara is refuting unmoved mover. He is using the example of called Rajju Saprabhama. If there is darkness, you see, there may be some kind of rope. I may think that. It is my imagination. It is projection. It's super. Similarly, this universe of multiplicity, universe of changefulness, has the background. And intellect has not the power to enter into the heart of reality. Intellect can comprehend or understand or grasp only the nama rupa, name and form, not the essence. And so in order to realize the background consciousness behind the universe, I have to transcend my psychophysical being and realize my infinite being, you see. Yeah. So when Swami Vivekananda says divinity is not, he is quoting from the seers of the Upanishads, you see. Shattam, especially the Upanishad called Tattari Vacham, Shattam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Shat, you are infinite truth, infinite beauty, infinite goodness, infinite life. But why are you afraid of death? You are afraid of death because you are attached to the body. Why you have a problem? Because you are attached to the mind. Why you see difference? You are attached to your ego. And that is why Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when a student asked him, when shall I be free? He said that you have to destroy the ego. Amimole guchibe janjal. All troubles will cease when ego disappears. Ego can be compared to an uninvited guest. You see. Comes late, want attention. When you say, when are you going home? He does not answer. Why? Because ego comes into existence in the dream state. But when dream state disappears and the state of enlightenment comes, Atman, it is finitization of the infinite self produces the ego consciousness. That is what you find in Patanjali from avidya. There is no, you see, in theological spectrum of the West, sin and salvation. These are two called keywords. But Indian tradition or Eastern tradition, samsara and nirvana. Samsara, what is samsara? Means you are trying to perpetuate your ego. When you try to perpetuate avidya, then there is desire. Then some desires you fulfill, all your desires are not fulfilled, and it is desire, kama. Then come karma. And therefore it is like a wheel. Buddhism also accepts that. In one of the councils, this was rejected. They are called the law of rebirth or law of reincarnation. But you may say, Swami, why do you not preach reincarnation? Because reincarnation is a consolation prize. It is something like you have to go to catch a bus or a train, and you have a little late, you see, and you say, better luck next time. Yeah. So I do not preach reincarnation. It comes under aparavidya. It is lower knowledge. Paravidya. Paravidya is Jivan Mukti. That starts my imagination. That also brings to my consciousness. There are persons who have realized it, you see. Swami, take for example, Swami Turiyananda, Swami Sharadananda. He was really a man of steady wisdom, Swami Sharadananda. I never saw him ruffled. See, how somebody asked that question, how to gain calmness of mind? Be Lubin. Calmness of mind I have seen in Swami Sharadananda. So, take for example, you see, India was under the sway of the British government. Then the governor, Lord Michael, wrote that this called revolutionary movement, you see, the brain of the revolution is Swami Vivekananda, you see. In one of her speeches, he mentioned that. Swami Sharadananda said, this is not true. Although some persons like Swami Pragyananda, then Atmarpakashananda, they had friends who joined the called revolutionary movement, but when they joined the monastery and became the disciples of Holy Mother, they gave up politics. And that is the reason here, hands of politics. Now next election is coming, you see. If somebody asks me, Swami, whom shall I vote? That is your business. Our members came, Bush, Vice President Bush came to Portland, and he was going to speak. And then one person, he has some kind of thing, you see, vote for this person. You know. So that is your business. Now, if I am to say, vote for your Atman, and also, don't give up. That means your choice, freedom of choice. And when you have that freedom of choice, and also you experience the truth of God in an exalted state of consciousness, all your questions will be answered, all your doubts will be cleared. Therefore, we find, along with the Shruti Vakya, called Tattamasi, you see, we find in the Vedic, in the age of Bhagavad Gita, there came the avatar. Avatar, again, can be realized in three aspects: the human aspect, the divine aspect, and the transcendental aspect. The human aspect, avatar, is an ideal man, is the leader of the soul. In the human aspect, we find that he emphasizes renunciation. That is what Sri Ramakrishna said, reading Bhagavad Gita few times. What do you think? Tagi, tagi, tagi. You have to renounce. What do you renounce then? You renounce your self-identification with your fugitive self. For what reason? To realize your true self, which is timeless, which is deathless, which is immortal. So therefore immortality is the theme. You find in the meditation verse of Bhagavad Gita, written by a great Advaitin called Madhusudana Saraswati, there he says, Sarvo Punisado Gavo Dugdha Gopalanandana Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhukta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. So all the Upanishads are like the cows. Upanishads are like cows. It is a kind of metaphorical way of talking. They are the cows. Sarvo Punisado Dugdha Gopalanandana. It is Krishna who has milked these cows. Sudhir Bhukta, the enjoyer of the milk, is discriminating souls. And what is the dugdha? As milk nourishes the our physical body. Similarly, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita will encourage us to strive towards immortality. Dugdham Gitamritam. Gita is the Amrita. Amrita. Now, if I am to say the theological Christians have accepted not immortality but resurrection. This is the gift of called Saint Paul. Saint Paul. Saint Paul, he will have a new body, and also the soul will travel to heaven, or call it Brahmaloka. But Shankara, you see, there someday was talking, the little boy was asked, you see, how to find God. And somebody answered, go south. That will not work. Don't go south. Don't go north. Don't go east. Don't go anywhere. Go nowhere. That means, when he said don't go, it means that realize your true Swarupa, your true nature, which is all-pervading consciousness, which has the property of enlightenment. You need not to beg or borrow from any person, you see. But in Nirvikara Samadhi you will realize it. And that is the meaning of the word Hiranmayena Patrena Shattashabhijammutam. Intellectual plane of consciousness we get in the knowledge of the appearance. And therefore the Rishi is talking, you have covered the face of truth with a golden disc. I am a passionate lover of truth, you see. Please remove that disc so that I may realize the truth behind the golden disc, and realize also oneness in essence between the subject and the object, between the individual soul and the universal soul. So, Hiranmayena Patrena Shattashabhijammukham. Now I will have to say one thing, that if you read the book of Genesis, you find that this world was created, you see. But the scientists are not accepting the theory of creation, they are accepting theory of evolution, you see. Last Sunday I mentioned that the decision of the Supreme Court that in theological class you can emphasize creation, but in science class you have to teach called evolution. But Shankara will say both, either creation or evolution, both will come under Aparavidya. Paravidya means the universe has not come into existence. It is in the dream state, universe is real. When you wake up, you find behind the universe, you will realize called Nirguna Brahman, and behind your psychophysical being, you will also realize Atman. Atman and Brahman are identical. Swami Vivekananda, he was gasping for breath. We had to call asthma, trouble of asthma in Devghar. But from within, his inner voice was repeating, Ekam abaddityam Brahma nihananasti kinchara. I have realized Brahman is one without a second, which is the called the ground of existence, according to Master Eckhart. But it is called the essence. The essence. That is why Nasato Vidyate Bhava, that I was talking, try to realize the essence. The essence of your psychophysical being is an Atman. An essence of the universe is Nirguna Brahman. Then you may say, avatar then. Avatar is the bridge. Is the bridge between man and God. First, he is the Guru. And the relationship of the Guru and the disciple is established through a mantra, a sacred mantra. And this relationship is forced by God, because Satchidananda is the Guru, you see. But the concept of Ishta is the gift of the Tantra Shastra. When you read the Vedanta Shastra, it is called the Siddhanta Shastra. Siddhanta Shastra means it is the conclusion. A man travels from truth to truth and never from error to truth. Therefore, in Christian faith also, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. This is dualistic philosophy. Then I am the vine, you are the branches. This is, I call, qualified non-dualistic philosophy. But when Christ said, I and my Father are one, it is pure Advaita. No distinction between Tattvamushi and Aham, or I and my Father one. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna also, you see, cut the form of the mother, and his mind soared to the transcendental beyond, and he lost all outward consciousness, but he was filled with the consciousness spirit which is infinite, which is universal, which is timeless, which is causeless. So this realization, Advaita is not a philosophy. Advaita is an experience. And that is why Swami Vivekananda, you see, went to his master, you see. You have done so many things to so many people. On 1st of January, Swamiji was not there, you see. He awakened the spiritual consciousness. Chaitanya Hok, Grishchandra Ghosh, Ramchandra Datta, the Aim, and many others. But Swamiji was sleeping because he had to attend to the master. So all the direct disciples, only Swami Shardananda and Swami Adbhutananda, they were cleaning up the room, doing this service. Yeah. Then Swami Vivekananda said, you have done so many things to the devotees who have done to me, then what do you want? Then I want Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Yeah. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, there is domestic trouble, you plus solve that problem. But how long I shall wait? How long? You see. Then Sri Ramakrishna went to Samadhi, tomorrow we will have. So in this connection, this relationship, somebody asked me this question, Swami, did Holy Mother talk to you? If he has not talked, how can he make a disciple? Not by imagination. So she talked in such a way that I will never forget that talk. But to sadhana is necessary. This relationship, you see, we all believe that Sri Ramakrishna is an avatar. The Holy Mother also is an avatar. And they have come to awaken our spiritual consciousness. Sri Ramakrishna is the method, and Holy Mother is the symbol of grace, you see. Therefore, you find renunciation is very important as a method. What do you renounce then? You renounce selfishness. And what do you gain when you gain wisdom, you see. What is that wisdom? Wisdom is knowledge of your true self, which is infinite, which is immortal, which is ever free and never bound. That is why Swami Vivekananda used to say that from bonds be free, from dreams awake, know the truth, thou art he. So Tattvamushi, this is exactly the Tattvamushi. So here we find that Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna went to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna did not answer. When he says that Shishyasteham Shadhimang Tang Prapannam. You see, in the West you find it is the church has taken the position of the Guru. But the East illumines so. It is not here anything to be solved, it is in the council. Take for example, in the Council of Nicaea. Council of Nicaea, it was established, the 467 bishops all voted, Constantine was there, that Christ is divine as well as human. Why is he divine? Because he says, I and my Father are one. He has seen the Son, has seen the Father. But why he was human? Because he was tempted. And also he said, and it means connect to the flesh. Connect to the flesh. It means you have to harmonize flesh and spirit. But how is it possible to harmonize flesh and spirit? Flesh, I call meatball. Will it last? Will it last? But spirit is everlasting. Why? It is timeless as well as causeless. And that is the reason why the solution of problems of life as well as death can be established or can be realized only through acceptance of immortality, not post-mortem emancipation, not thinking that our real self goes to heaven or Brahmaloka, no. Because Shankara, that is the reason why at first I was very fascinated by Plato and Aristotle. But when I studied in Benares after the Mahasamadhi of Swami Sharadananda, called the Prasthanatra, under a very competent teacher, Swami Jagadananda, I would come prepared and ask him many questions. A Pandit, in our Belur Math there was a Pandit, he used to say, if I ask any question, he will say, how does your Kant say? I can't, I will quote Kant, because Kant, through intellectual method, he is a thing on itself will always remain an unknown. But it is Swami Jagadananda. Thing in itself, or absolute, maybe are known and unknown by the intellectual process of thinking, but thing on itself will always remain firmly established in the consciousness of an illumined soul. And that you have to follow the method. And the method is you have to transcend time, space and causation and realize samadhi, turiya. Although turiya is not a state of consciousness, Patanjali calls it a state of consciousness. Shankara interpret as well as Gaudapada as the background consciousness. You see, and the definition of truth or reality, a definition of truth and reality is avadhitattva. It is not the pragmatic value of truth. That if you have some kind of job, so it is true. And if you don't get a job, it is not true. Meditation does not give you any money, so meditation will be of no good. So anyway, truth, there are two types of truth. One is called Vyavaharika truth and another Paramarthika truth. Vyavaharika truth we accept for satisfying some purpose in life. But Paramarthika truth we accept to realize our true swarupa, our true nature. The true nature is divine. True nature is immortal. That is the reason every day we find, see, an obituary comes, so and so has passed away. But we think that we will never pass away, we will never die. It is a kind of intimation to immortality. But that will not be true intimation. True intimation will come through the Sravana Manana Nididhasana. Sravana, we have to accept Tasmad Gurumapi Gachyet. Tasmad Gurumapi Gachyet. So you have to go to a teacher, an illumined teacher. You see, take for example Shankara had to go to Govindapada. First he went to Gaudapada. Gaudapada says, no, my days are done. I will leave this one. Then Shankara asked that, please tell me who is your most favorite disciple. I will go to him. So he said, on the bank of Narmada, Govindapada. Then he went. Then there was water coming. It was kind of flood. Shankara became like a rampart, like an embankment. Then Govindapada was in samadhi. Then came down to normal consciousness. Who are you? Then Shankara says that I have no birth, I have no death. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivo. I am infinite existence, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss. So Ankara had a kind of glimpse, but through the grace of the Guru, he was established. Similarly, Swami Vivekananda, when he had the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he had no consciousness of his body. Then Swami Advaitananda, Swami Advaita said, Naren is dead. Now how can Naren be dead? It is impossible. He has to do mother's work. Then Swamiji came and they said, the treasure will be in a box, the key will be in your hand, and when you have finished mother's work, I will hand over the key to you. So Swamiji was not a philosopher in the sense of Plato or Aristotle. Plato is considered as the most outstanding philosopher in the West, because Dr. Whitehead says mm, all the philosophers after Plato have written footnotes to Plato. But Shankara, it is Shankara who not only was a realized soul, but it is he who established this monastic order. Although he was, perhaps he was influenced by Buddha. It is Buddha who first started. Buddhang Sharanang Gacchami, Dharmang Sharanang Gacchami, Sanghang Sharanang Gacchami. Monastic order was started. In the West, the monastic order was called Desert Fathers. Afterwards, the Benedictine laws. All the monasteries follow Benedictine rules. But Shankara did not allow women to become nuns because the society was not very progressive. It is Swami Vivekananda, you see. And that is Holy Mother's centenary time, this parallel organization. It is not under the called Velur Math organization, Sharada, Ramakrishna Sharada Sangha or Sharada Sangha. There you find they can give initiation, they can give brahmacharya, they can give sannyas, you see. Why? It will be difficult for the Catholics to accept it because Catholicism has accepted, what shall I say, supremacy of man. Because the one Pope has mentioned that at the time of the Mass, Christ comes in a male form. But Vedanta accepts God as mother. In God as mother has no connection with matriarchal society or masculine, feminine gender. God as mother is a beautiful concept. It is a called metaphorical concept. Metaphorical concept here means when Sri Ramakrishna worshipped Mother Kali, before his final exit to the world, he repeated 3 times Kali, Kali, Kali. Then first he had the vision of Mother Kali in the personal aspect. Mother Kali is the symbol of personal and impersonal God. But God the Father is always connected with dualistic philosophy, creature and creator. Well, Sergeant Woodrop mentions it in his book, but Tantra Shastra speaks of the Advaita as the goal. But it is the gift of the Tantra Shastra called the worship. Vedic worship was Shakama, with desire. But Tantric worship is create first devotion and ultimately put Atma Jnana, Advaita Jnana. So here we find, it reminds me of one incident. One time I was asked to go to Los Angeles, you see, and there was some trouble in the plane. That exit, this exit, that gave kind of warning. Then I thought with myself, suppose the parachute does not open, what will happen? Your body will be smashed. It's like that. Something I was thinking. Then all of a sudden, from Chundi, that is the glory of the Divine Mother, that line came, Kalaratri, Maharatri, Maharatrischa Daruna. We sometimes repeat, just like a parrot, you see. But that time, what is Kalaratri? The night of death will be called the night of destruction. You see. Kalaratri. Why? Because you are passing through Maharatri, the night of delusion, night of infatuation, night of misunderstanding. So the purpose of life, when you come to Sri Ramakrishna and worship Sri Ramakrishna as the Guru and Holy Mother as the Ishta, the purpose is to gain grace. It is not by self-effort alone we can attain realization of God. You see, grace is necessary. You see, the Kalaratri, which is caused by Moratri. can be converted into Maharatri, night of enlightenment, a night of freedom, you see, if we worship Sri Ramakrishna as the Guru. Guru is the symbol of Nirguna Brahman. And we worship Holy Mother as the Ishta Devi, or called the personal aspect of God. And that is why Swami Vivekananda one day came and said to Holy Mother, Mother, you can create hundreds of Vivekanandas like me, but I will never find another mother like you. You see. And Swamiji had a vision also in Khir Bhavan. And he was thinking that had I been present, I would have resisted this destruction of the temple. You see. Then the Divine Mother appeared, and Swamiji, the voice of the mother said, do you protect me or I protect you? Then Swamiji after said, all by patriotism gone. It does not mean that he was not patriotic, but he became called a child of the mother. That is what I call, his heart was not thinking only of good of India, but good of the whole world. You see. So this concept of God and mother as mother may be a new concept to the West, but this concept is filled with deep meaning and significance because it is Sri Ramakrishna worshipped God as Mother Kali. That means time. You see, who is a Kali means who controls time, and also who comes in the form of life as well as death. Why? To awaken the spiritual consciousness and lead us from death to immortality. And that is the poem Swamiji wrote, you see. Who dares misery love and hug the form of death, to him the mother comes. The shed of death in immortality, both these, O Mother, thy grace, may thy gracious face never be turned away from me, thy child. So it is, death is inevitable, but consciousness is important. And at that time, we must withdraw the mind from all mundane, material and illusory things of this transitory world and think of the mantra given by the Guru and invoke the presence of the Lord, who is our Father, who is our Mother, who is our Beloved, who is our all in all, so that we may overcome the terror of death and realize the sweetness of immortality. That is the reason why we have come to Sri Ramakrishna. For what reason? To awaken our spiritual consciousness. When spiritual consciousness is awakened, we move inwardly in search of the truth. And the truth is hidden in the heart of every soul. And that is the reason why when we meditate on God in the heart center, we call the Ishta. When we meditate on God in the 1,000-petal lotus in the head, it is called the Guru. The Guru Sthan is the head, and the Ishta Sthan. Here it means the Ishta is the Shakti, is the power of God. And through the grace, Ishta is also the symbol of Karuna, symbol of grace. And so when our sadhana purifies the mind and we long for the vision of God, through the grace of God we transcend time, space and causation and realize our true nature, which is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, which is eternal, which is pure, which is enlightened and free. That is what we find when Arjuna asked this question to Sri Krishna. What is the sign of an illumined soul? Although usually called Sthitapragya Bhasha, man of steady wisdom. Then Sri Krishna says, Apurjamanam achala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti jadvat tadvat kamajang pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kamakami vihaya kaman jasarvan pumangs charute nispriha nirmamo nirhankara sashanti madhigacchati esha brahmistiti partha Nainang prappa vimujjati sitva avasyamanto kalepi brahma nirvanam richati. Esha Brahma is established in the truth of Brahman. Brahma is the Nainang, but once who attained it, he will not fall back into ignorance. It is ignorance that creates fear of death. Nainang pravujya. Sitva, even at the time of death, he will be wide awake to the consciousness of his chosen ideal, and through his grace he will realize the personal aspect of God in Sabikalpa Samadhi and impersonal aspect of God in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And therefore the message of Bhagavad Gita, according to Sri Ramakrishna, is to be Vijnani. Vijnani is one who has realized the impersonal aspect of God in Nirvikalpa Samadhi and personal aspect of Sabikalpa Samadhi, and also sees God as the background consciousness of every individual soul, irrespective of creed, color, nationality, race. May good betide all, may happiness come to all, may all see the face of truth, and be fortified by the armor of love, goodwill, and understanding. I have, these few days I have been in your midst. It has been a very sweet and affectionate memory which I will never forget. And I bring to you the love and affection of all the devotees of the Portland Center. These two centers are closely knit, and may our close relationship be stronger and stronger as days pass, and through the grace of Sri Ramakrishna Holipada we may play a significant part in living a true spiritual life and helping others to attain the spiritual wisdom which will create a bond of fellowship between the East and the West, between man and man, between race and race. And that is the reason why I bow down in reverence to Sri Ramakrishna to give me, for allowing me the privilege to talk to you. May he illumine your soul and lead you kindly from darkness to light, from bondage to freedom, from intellectual understanding of metaphysical truths to enlightened knowledge of perennial philosophy of human existence. Thank you.